Hello! Today we're going to be talking about E for emotion. So I don't want you to be free from emotion, but I want you to be able to feel whatever emotion comes up for you. Because, we're all feeling emotion, aren't we? And normally when we talk about feeling emotion, we're talking about when we're going through turbulent times. And they're the kind of emotions that we don't always like. But in a single day, you can go through every emotion. You could feel joy and happiness and excitement, everything else on the spectrum of being human. So what I'm talking about today is being free to experience, as I say, any emotion that comes up without making it mean anything and without taking it personally. Strange as that may sound. I mean, it might sound kind of counterintuitive, mightn't it? Because you might think, hold on, I'm feeling the emotion, me, this person, so therefore it's personal. Well, no. Because you see, what you're feeling in that moment is your thought. So you're feeling thought. If you're feeling upset, joyous, angry, all feeling comes from thought. And if everything comes from thought, and you know that we have hundreds of thoughts a day, then you know that when another thought comes along, you'll be free to experience a different emotion. Yeah? Which means that we don't need to take our emotions so seriously, so personally. If we feel angry, we don't need to think, oh, I'm an angry person. Or if you feel sad, you don't need to think, oh no, I'm just going to be sad forever. Because it feels like that sometimes, doesn't it, when we're in the grip of an emotion. It feels like it's not going to fade away. It feels like it's there forever, except happiness, strangely enough. But if we feel happiness, we don't feel it's going to stay forever. Quite often the opposite happens and people worry that happiness isn't going to last. Now, there are people that would do anything to avoid what they consider is a negative emotion. Yeah, people, maybe you've done it yourself, I've done it myself too. I don't want to feel sadness or fear, so maybe someone, not me necessarily, that would go for a run, but other people might go for a run or buy a bottle of wine to just to prevent feeling that feeling, to anything to stave off that feeling. But then there are other people that go and pay money and watch films to feel sadness and fear. Same emotion. Oh, well, you might say, that's because one's real and one isn't. Really? Because when you're in the middle of watching a film where somebody dies and you're crying your way through a family-sized box of tissues, or you're in a scary film where you're being stalked by a mad axe murderer, that feels real at the time, doesn't it? The only difference is, when the film finishes, you don't have to feel that emotion anymore. Because when the film finishes, you'll start thinking about, I don't know, what you're going to have for dinner that night or what you're going to do the next day. It doesn't feel personal. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about feeling the emotion when you're in it, but remembering that you don't have to stay in the feeling. Knowing that your feelings will change as your thoughts change. Imagine that you're the sky and emotions are clouds. Now, sometimes, as we know, the clouds group together and it rains. Sometimes they break apart and the sun shines through. Sometimes you just have a blanket of grey. But the sky doesn't really take clouds personally or worry that it's always going to be grey and they're never going to move and they're always going to be hanging around. The clouds, like emotion, just come and go. Which means that we don't need to fear the emotion that we're in. We don't need to take steps to avoid the emotion. We don't need to try and work our way out of it. We know if we just leave it alone, we'll feel something else 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a day later. It means that we're free to experience any emotion that we want to, any emotion that comes up. And then we can experience another one, and another one, and another one. Okay, bye-bye.